We're on the third day here in Phnom Penh. Jason and his family just, Jason's family just left.
Bye.
So the family had to return because school was on the very next day. And I must admit, I felt a little bit flat.
This is the empty room where we all stayed. Just feels a bit lonely now.
Jason's family ended up leaving and we decided to go down to the river. While we were going down to the river, I had explained to Jason about this concept called Black in Asia. If you're black and happen to be in Asia, and when you see another black person that's out there, you at least acknowledge, like, yo, I'm here for you if need be. But you always know from a distance, everything's good, everything's good.
So we started one of our video chats.
From
The dreadlock.
The locks bring all! The locks bring all!
When I looked round, I noticed we were being watched by.
We run into these two guys, Loso and Leon. The reason that we connected was just simply because Loso and I had done the, the what's up. This other guy comes in, his name is Omega. This guy is from Liberia. So what we have now is we have a Ghanaian who's been traveling all over.
So I'm Loso, aka Chef Los, award-winning international chef. This is my first time in Asia.
The Liberian.
I'm Omega, the Liberian, came to Phnom Penh for visa change and based in China or something like that.
White American coming out from San Francisco.
Yeah, and I'm Liron, and I'm from California, and I just landed here and excited to explore.
All come together in Cambodia, of all the random places. We start just doing some on-camera stuff. Like, acknowledge, like, there's not that many of us, not that many Americans, not that many black people here. Acknowledge. If you don't, I think you're an ass. And then literally as I say that, you guys come through. Brother! Right? And it was just like, yo, so just do a quick. Had a great conversation at the river, and then we ended up going to go get some food afterwards. And like I said, we ended up, I think, spending like the better part of like 3-4 hours with those guys when it was all said and done.
We're on the road again, ladies and gentlemen, leaving Phnom Penh for Vietnam. So we have a good day's ride. Really looking forward to this.
So I had 3 days to ride from Phnom Penh to Saigon, Ho Chi Minh City. And on the first day, I decided just to wing it. I didn't book any accommodation. I decided to ride as far as I could to the border town of Bavet, and when I ran out of energy, stop and stay at a hotel.
So here I am making great time out of Phnom Penh. Been going for about 2.5 hours, and all of a sudden, the gears just completely lose it. It's the back gears. There's just the chain's got nothing to grab onto. It's weird. I've never seen anything like this on a bike before. So this guy's picked me up and tuk-tuk and taken me to the bike shop. Probably is not a big problem. This is probably not something that's hard to fix. My Achilles heel, my inability to be mechanical in any way, shape or form, that weakness just keeps being poked and poked.
And so the next day, I go meet up with Reth. He actually comes to the hostel with his tuk-tuk and to take me over to the government building. This was not just a school that Kampuchea Balopp was trying to help work to implement rugby. This was a school that Reth grew up in. And it was really interesting talking with Reth about it, because if you were there, that means that you really probably didn't have a family to go to, or you didn't have enough money to make it out to the countryside. They play for a little bit, and Reth grabs a box out, and he says, hey, he gets the kids together and everything, and he starts handing out the shirt. They're like, wait, what is this? Like, what's going on? And they're like, oh, okay, I get into it, and just like they start playing, and you know, you can feel the comfort, because these are such good shirts, and at least for what it's worth, it was our little bit of impact, trying to say, hey guys, I know you guys have your struggles or whatever like that, but you know, there's at least people who care, and we want to just let you know that we want to show that you matter. Awesome.
Such a wet country. Look at this, this is like an inland sea. There is water everywhere, extremely fertile. There's just really no reason these people should be as poor as they are in such a plentiful land.
And after a while, the landscape then got very flat and very boring.
And this is all I've been looking at for like 2 or 3 hours, the same old scene along this road.
So eventually I did run out of energy, about 35 kilometres short of the Vietnam border town of Bavet. I got an early night because I was extremely excited about going to Vietnam the very next day.
Alright, this is day 2 of my ride between Phnom Penh and Ho Chi Minh City, and rain has set in, so I did a lot of kilometres.
So I was standing there waiting for the rain to pass when I decided to have a, what we call back in Australia, a one cheek sneak, a bit of a releasing of air, and then it just went. So I raced off to the hotel toilets. And when I did ride again, I noticed that the road had a strong resemblance to the state of my guts. And the closer I got to Bavet, the worse it got.
Now I'm pushing my bike. It's just, the mud has just got so thick. It's just so thick here, now it's pouring down raining.
So I'm standing there knee deep in mud, and all of a sudden, I get a phone call from Gift.
So I got on the bus, right? And ended up, they called me and they were like, oh, your Vietnamese visa is for airport only, not for land. And if you go by land, it's gonna cost you $150. Mind you, only had $6 on me. So I'm walking out to Western Union trying to go pick up some new money. It's a weird issue. This is a stupid issue.
So from what I could understand, he told me that he had the wrong visa. He needed $75 for a new visa, and he only had $6. So I looked around, I looked at the bike, I looked at how dirty all my gear was, and I said, okay, Bavet, the border town, is just ahead of me. I'm going to go there, I'm going to find a hotel room. I'll tell you what it is, I'll meet you there.
It's really a bit of a wild, wild west. It feels like every bit a third world country town. So finding a room here was incredible. This place I finally found for $20. It's not worth $20, it's not even worth 10. Underneath my feet you can hear the tiles crackling. They're doing excavation, so there's banging and all kinds of strange noises. The power's been cut off twice. There's no shower in there. And now I'm sitting here waiting for Gift to turn up, see if we can get our money together, get across that border.
So I retreated back to my room where I spent most of the afternoon scrubbing mud off all my gear, and then took a quick nap where I dreamt of being back in Johor Bahru at Leisure Farm. But it didn't last very long because my guts, they kept dropping all day. I had to race into the old squat toilet.
I got at least a written up slip enough to get on the bus, to get on what was gonna be the van, and then head out. Started talking with this girl who was Japanese. Her trip was about exploration and self-discovery. Here, heading out to Vietnam. I'm with this wonderful person, Maria. Where are you from?
Japan.
Where do you
But
live?
I live in Australia.
Yeah, I was gonna say, don't try to cut the story. No,
People love Japanese people.
everybody loves Japanese people. Let's give my people a little bit of a wave. Driving, and all of a sudden we stop, and a guy comes on board and points at me and says, "Hey, come with me." And it's like everything changed. Just got into Mekong. What's this place called? Brava. And got to make it back to the hotel. It's gonna be a little bit of a walk. The roads just went to absolute crap.
So wet.
And then the other thing that I ended up noticing was that, yo, this place was a casino town. And I was just like, yo, like, what's happening? But you can see, like, this was mad Chinese money that's going into this. They're really turning this place into their own personal Vegas.
So before Gift arrived, I got some deodorant, sprayed the room, so there was some air to breathe. And I tell you what, I was really glad to see him. It was a terrible day. The next morning, I was on that bike, quick smart, to get out of this place. Because as I rode along, I realised that Bavet the town was just as depressing as the room I'd been staying in. And it was time to bust this joint.
How do you feel coming across the Cambodian side of customs after this little ordeal?
Can't wait to move on. It's time to move on. One must progress, change, grow, evolve.
We're in
Morning, Vietnam! And here we are. And the one thing I noticed, look at that road. Look at that road.
Also, no crowding and barely anybody rushing you.
Considering he got just offered $25 US to get to Ho Chi Minh City,
Yeah,
and,
that's true.
and he almost took it.
Yeah, I'm foolish with money.
Let's go!
Let's go.
The road from the border to Saigon, Ho Chi Minh City was only 80 kilometres, and it was during that short ride that it suddenly dawned on both of us.
Alright, 15 kilometres to go to the end of stage 3. Finishing right here in Ho Chi Minh City. And what a great way to finish. These lanes here dedicated solely to bikes.
Coming to the last city, the last leg of our Southeast Asian tour component of this. This is wow. This has been a crazy almost month. Really enjoying getting time to spend with Jason. That's been really good. You know, being able to bond. That's my brother for life right there.
Finished our Southeast Asian leg.
Kind of crazy that this is still that we've done this much. It's passed quickly, but it's also been a very long time.
Blown my mind.
So we grabbed some good old Vietnamese street food, booked into our hostel, and made our way out to our very next event.
Getting ready to head off to meet with Saigon Geckos for their event. Hoping to get to meet them, get to know them a little bit, sell a few jerseys so we can finish up this trip in big fashion.
The Saigon Geckos are one of those expat teams that I saw regularly on the rugby tournament circuit in Southeast Asia, and I've got to know them quite well. They're full of French, so they're really quite crazy.
We come from Saigon. We are the Geckos.
And I was expecting nothing less when we turned up this night, the first game of the 2019 Rugby World Cup.
Met up with the Saigon Geckos, and man, these cats brought energy. Hey! Alright, my name is Gift, obviously, like you said, from the US. Hey! USA! 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 USA!
And I'm Jason, I'm from Australia.
Alright!
And we have travelled on bikes from Singapore all the way up here on our way to the Rugby World Cup.
To the journey, it all goes towards the fun, all goes towards the journey.
And like it was good energy inside there. The geckos were fun, drinks were flowing, pizza was rocking. Like it felt rugby.
So Gift, still on his best behaviour after Bangkok, went round selling the shirts to get us a little bit of money.
Hi, I'm Mariana.
And she got a shirt! Ah! So, everybody getting that shirt? You loving it? You like? Looks good. Looks good. Thank you very much. And a quick picture right here.
Sitting there, watching the Russia versus Japan game on the big screen, it dawned on me. That's the World Cup. That's where we're going. We'd finished all our Southeast Asian countries, our 3 NGOs, and now the big dance was waiting. But of course, all this was dependent on the one thing we really didn't have much of: money. So we were planning to go to 2 games. Game number 1, the USA versus England, on the 26th of September at Kobe. Game number 2 and our big finale was Australia versus Wales on the 29th of September at Tokyo. And at that, the campaign would end. The budget was $1,500. And so we just put it out there to the troops, hoping that the rugby community, that friends and family could come through for us just one more time.
It's a nice day. Hot, but it's a good hot. Had a nice little meal. It wasn't too bad. We went to one of the courts, the castles or something like that. It was Jason and I. We rode out there.
Now, I could be anywhere in the world. What this building means to you?
The Independent Palace?
No. That one up there.
Well, all I know is that the Avengers are everywhere. And the truth is, they just decided that they're gonna get a bigger audience in Asia. So they said, let's just go ahead and just put the Stark Towers in Asia. We're gonna make so much more money. I accidentally crossed through the path of these Indian guys trying to take touristy photos. These guys were like, yo, get into the photos. Can I take a picture with you? Hey, let's get this. Let's go through. And it was funny because Jason was like, yo, can I get it in? And they ignored the hell out of him.
Guys, picture with me. Picture. Australian. G'day, mate.
And they were like, nobody cares about you, white boy.
Shrimps on Barbies. G'day, mate. Anyone? You can use my phone.
So as we were floating in and out of the hostel, I kept checking the computer to see if we were going to get the money to go to Japan. And people were responding. They knew we were close to the goal. But the real clincher came from a mate of mine in New Zealand, Dale Rees from Manor Game Changers. I celebrated when I saw his words on my Facebook Messenger. How much do you need? Hallelujah!
Osaka, Japan.
Praise the Lord.
Here we come. Today's the day. We're heading out to Japan finally to go do some Rugby World Cup action now because it's now finally time. All this culminating to this moment.
So we both lined up to book in for our flight to Osaka. We had 2 large pieces of check-in luggage. One was just our luggage, and I put that under my name. The other piece was, of course, the bike. I put that under Gift's name.
And I get up to the desk and the guy's like, where's your return ticket? I was like, I don't have a return ticket. I had zero intentions of buying a return ticket until I was absolutely sure that the US was going to be completely out of the Rugby World Cup. And he was like, well, we can't let you get into the country unless you have a return ticket. And I'm like, say what? Mind you, again, I don't have money for this. We don't have money for this. Found the ticket, right? We paid for it. Here's the kicker though. I only had a half hour. I'm just like, I'm tight. I'm looking at the Kiwi.com app and I'm looking at it, looking for my ticket to go through. And it is like the countdown for a bomb.
So I looked up at the time, I looked at the boarding pass, and I said, Gift, mate, I'm gonna have to go. I'm not gonna get on this plane if we hang around here. So I went up to the counter and said to the lady, look, I need this bike. And she said, no, the bike was booked in Gift's name, and if he didn't get on that plane, neither did the bike.
I'm like telling Jason, go ahead, head to Japan. I'll figure it out if, whatever happens.
And as I lined up to go through immigration, I couldn't help but to think about it. At the start, there were 2 riders with 2 bikes. Then there became 1.5 riders with 1 bike. Now, heading to the big finale in Japan, there was just me, 1 rider and no bike.